She played a fiddle in an Irish band, but she fell in love with an Englishman. Kissed her on the neck and then I took her by the hand. Said, baby, I just wanna dance. I met her on the Grafton Street, right outside of the bar. She shared a cigarette with me while her brother played the guitar. She asked me, what does it mean? The Gaelic ink on your arm. Said it was one of my friend's songs. Do you wanna drink on? She took me as a chaser, Jack for the fun. She got up there on the table with Johnny riding a shotgun. Chatted some more, one more drink at the bar, then put Van on the jukebox. Got up to dance. She knows she played a fiddle in an Irish band, but she fell in love with an Englishman. Kissed her on the neck and then I took her by the hand. Said, baby, I just wanna dance with my pretty little Galway girl. My pretty little Galway girl. My pretty little Galway girl. My pretty little Galway girl.
Hi, how you doing? Justin here. Today we are checking out Galway Girl by Ed Sheeran. Really good fun tune to play. There are lots of kind of interesting things rhythmically going on to make it fun to play on the guitar. First thing I want to mention is we've got the old capo there at the 2nd fret, okay, which of course you need only to play along with Ed's version. If you're playing at a party, you can use it, play it of course without the capo. It'll just be a little bit lower, possibly a bit easier to sing. Now, most of the chords are using this kind of common Ed Sheeran trick of having the 3rd and 4th fingers on the 3rd fret of the 2nd and 3rd strings, but we are going to play D chord the regular way. But we're starting off with E minor, so fingers 1 and 2 in the 2nd fret of strings 4 and 5. Getting my brain in a little bit of a tiz today. So we've got E minor to G, then to regular D, to C add 9. Okay, so that idea of keeping those 2 fingers down changes just for the D chord. Okay, E minor to G, to D regular, so little finger will come off, to C add 9, little finger goes back down again. Okay, then we've got C to G to D. So the rhythm for this tune is pretty important as well. It's a 16th note feel, so you're probably going to have your hand moving like 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a down, up, 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 most of the time. But you kind of don't have to have it quite that frantic, but that feeling should be there, which is kind of what gives it the energy, okay? Right at the beginning, you got a, okay, leading into the tune, a down and up on the and the after 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and a. Okay, just click, click, down. But to do that click, click at the start forces you into the 16th note feel, which is quite nice. So 1, 2, 3, 4. E minor, G, D, C. Okay. If I try and do the count for this, it's a little bit awkward, this one, to count it and play it at the same time. But 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1 E and a 2 and 3, 4. Okay, so it's very specific, that pattern. He seems to play it exactly like that. So mute, mute, down, 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3, 4. 1 E and a 2 and 3, 4. Okay, down, up, down. Little hit there right on beat 4. Okay, one more time. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1 and a 2 and 3, 4. Okay, that's just the very intro. In the verses, gets a little bit more fun. We've got E minor to G. Okay, I'm putting in a percussion here on the original record, just E minor, 2, 4, D to C. You want to keep them nice and tight there. You can see I'm doing the strum and then muting with the outside part of my hand on all of the strings. Okay, 1, 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1, 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3, 4. Okay, so it's just on beat 1, the and after 2, but keeping them real tight with the outside part of the strumming hand doing the muting. 1, 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and. Okay, and there's this little bit the second time through. He stops on the D, and on the E after 4, which means the second 16th note after beat 4, he's playing the D, G, and B strings 4, 3, and 2, just kind of hitting them with no fingers on, okay? So 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, E, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1. Just at that point there, the second last bar that I just played, the A minor is held. It sounds really cool. Seems like live he just continues to play a C chord there, but on the original recording, it's definitely an A minor chord and it's strummed and held, which is a really nice contrast in, if I play now through that whole verse, you hear that one chord really just kind of gives it a slightly different mood or whatever. I think that's very, very clever arranging, whoever produced this tune. Anyway, so the verse, 2, 3, 4, E minor, G, G, D, C, E minor, G, 2, D, 2, 3, 4, and E minor, G, D, C, A minor, G, 2, D, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now we're into the pre-chorus. Pre-chorus, C to G, D, C, C, G, D. Okay, that's the little sequence for the pre-chorus. Again, C, G, I'm going to talk about the rhythm a bit more in a second. D, C, C, G, D. Now it does seem like live, because I researched these things a little bit. On the second C chord, live, he sometimes seems to play an E minor. So whether he forgot what was on the original recording, he just doesn't care. Doesn't really matter. He's making his own arrangements, which again, as usual, when I'm talking to you guys about these tunes, you should be thinking about making your own arrangements of these songs. So he will often play C, G, D, E minor, C, G, D, which is fine. Sounds C and E minor are very, very similar chords. They share quite a few notes. So they share 2 notes, but they share enough notes to make it sound more or less the same, and you could substitute those 2 quite comfortably and it doesn't sound particularly weird. So the rhythm for this chorus progression is really important as well. It's a rhythm that we use throughout the rest of the song. It's a it's quite a common kind of a groove, really. A great strumming pattern that you're going to find yourself using in other songs as well, for sure. The pattern, I'll slow it down in a second, but to start off with is this. And again, learning a rhythm like that with just a little mute is a really good idea, because when you're starting to think about the chords as well and where the chords change, it'll stop you from kind of memorizing and locking in that rhythm pattern, because especially if you're singing a tune like this, there's no way you're thinking about the chords and the chord changes and the strumming and singing at the same time. It's not going to happen. So you really need to get that rhythm pattern fully automated, really locked into your memory. So, forgetting about the chords and just working on the rhythm is a really good idea. Let me play it for you slowly now and do the little count. Again, learning to count rhythms is a really, really good idea, but the other really, really good idea is learning just by listening to the original recording. So make sure you give the original recording a good listen as well. Really listen to the rhythm. Try and kind of imagine your hand moving to create the rhythm that you hear on the recording. It's a really great way of doing it as well. But the count, 1 E and a 2 and 3 E and 4 and a 1 E and a 2 and 3 E and 4 and a 1 E and a 2 and 3 E and 4 E and a. Okay, 1 E and a 2 and, first part, down, up, down, 1 E and a 2 and, 1 E and a 2 and, 1 E and a 2 and. And you can see I'm just going down, up, down, but you can't just go down, up, down, because then the hand stops moving. It's got to be down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down. Okay, really important. Down, up, down, up, down, down. Down, up, down, down. 1 E and a 2 and 3 E and 4. 1 E and a 2 and 3 E and 4. Down, up, down, down. 1 E and a 2 and 3 E and 4 and a. And now there's a little and-a, which is actually muted. So you wouldn't normally play a chord there anyway. You're going to be transitioning chord at that point. So the down and up is going to be mutes or maybe a few open strings or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's just about creating the feeling of that rhythm, okay? 1E and a 2 and 3E and 4 and a 1E and a 2 and 3E and 4 and a 2 and 3E and 4 and a 1E and a 2 and 3E and 4. Okay, really important that you get those patterns nice and slow, get them worked in, and as soon as you got it and it's kind of feeling nice, really try and relax with it and make it feel good when you're playing it. Because if you want people to feel good when they're listening to you play, you've got to feel good while you're playing it. No good being really tense and all of that. It's going to kind of muck up your groove. So you want to be really nice and relaxed and trying to make that hand move down, up, down, up, down, 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 up, down. And it doesn't really matter if you put in a few extra strums as well. So don't be beating yourself up if you put an extra strum in here and there. It really doesn't make any difference. Well, it makes a little bit of difference, but it's not going to change how groovy the song is. Much more important is whether it feels nice and whether you're relaxed doing it, okay? So don't really be careful not to be like, oh, I put in an extra down strum, I'm terrible. You know, it don't matter, right? So let's apply that rhythm now to the chords, and note that the G chord is being played on the second down strum, okay? That's where the chord's changing in the bar. So down, up, G, up, down, 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 up, D, up, C, up, down, 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 up, C, G, to D, down, up, down, down. You're my pretty little girl. Going into that, there's a little stop again, using the outside part of that hand just to hit down on the strings, make sure it's quiet. Again, that chorus, the pre-chorus, 3, 4, C, G, D, C, C, G, D. You're my pretty little Galway girl. Okay, the chorus, same strumming pattern, same groove. C, G, D, E minor. C, G, D, E minor. The other bit to mention here is the bridge. Now, it's kind of similar chords, E minor, G, D, C. We've had all of that stuff before, but there's a nice little chord variation, I think, that is nice to put in there. It's not what Ed's playing on the original recording, but it gives kind of the sound of the arrangement. E minor and G sound the same, but for the D chord, instead of playing a regular D, you go for nothing on the thicker 2 strings, open 4th string, 2nd fret on the 3rd string, 3rd fret on the 2nd string, and 5th fret on the thinner string. So using your 1st finger, 2nd finger, and little finger. This is a D5 chord then. And then going to this C5, which means lifting all the fingers off except little finger, sliding that back 2 frets. 3rd finger goes down where it would normally go for a C chord, 3rd fret of the 5th string. That finger also mutes the 4th string. Open 3rd string, 1st finger going in the 1st fret of the 2nd string. Okay, nothing on the thickest, 3rd, muting the 4th string with the underneath of the 3rd finger, open, 1st, 3rd. It's just a different sound. It's just if you do it that way, it's just a different... You know, I often talk about it with these kind of tunes, is the light and dark of the different sections. Having a verse and a chorus are a little bit different, particularly if you're playing on your own, okay? If you're in a band, you can do it with different instruments coming in and out, and that's kind of the whole skill of arranging and producing is learning to manipulate the different instruments. But if you're by yourself playing guitar, you need to learn a little bit of that on your own, because you're your own producer and arranger. So trying to remember that the verses should be a little bit quieter than the choruses is a good idea. And oftentimes the bridges, again, will dip down a bit. So trying to change the chords a little bit at that point and play a little softer so the song kind of comes down, then explodes again into those end choruses. You know, if you're playing at a party, people respond to that kind of thing, you know, and I think so it's important to kind of have those things in mind when you're listening to a tune, listening to where it goes big and where it goes small, you know, as in the whole arrangement. It's something that you should maybe attempt to get into doing on the guitar as well. But of course, that would be completely up to you. I think that's enough of the bones of this tune. With what I've given you there, you should be able to create a pretty good, rendition of this tune to play either along with Ed's original version or try and use some of these pieces and some of your own inspiration to make up your own version. And I think that's a really cool thing to be doing as well, is taking somebody else's tune, learning what they've done, and then trying to find the ways that work well for you and do your own version. I think it's a really, really cool and fun thing to do, and it kind of removes some of the restrictions about can I do it. It's like, how can you do it your way and make it cool? I think it's a very satisfying way to approach playing songs anyway. So look, I really hope you dig playing this tune. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel if you dig what I do, and don't forget there's more than 1,000 free lessons over on JustinGuitar.com. So if you haven't checked it out already, head over and have a look about loads more Ed Sheeran, a lot more stuff on the techniques and strumming and chords and how to make them better and how to construct your practice routines and ear training and everything else is all over there, all for free. So do go and check it out. I'll see you for plenty more very soon. You take care of yourselves and each other. Take care. Bye-bye.